Hi everyone. We are going to be discussing a little bit more about the human body systems. So far, we know about functions and organs or structures, and today we're going to add in interactions. So, what I would like you to do is to review what you should already know about functions and organs and try to remind yourself of what you would have already known or written down. And then the new information is interactions. And as you go through this, I would like you to add at least 2 interactions to your notes on the body systems review paper. So we're going to start with the integumentary system. The integumentary system has 5 main functions. The first is protection against foreign invaders or pathogens, so viruses, bacteria, fungus. The second is regulation of our body temperature, keeping us at the right body temp, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Excretion or removal of waste from our body. Sensory reception, which means like able to feel hot or cold or pain. And then lastly, vitamin D production, which is important for other cellular processes. The organs and structures that work within this system are the skin, hair, glands, there's a couple of types, your nails, nerves, and blood vessels. This should be familiar to you, and the interactions are new. So remember, I'd like you to, for each system, write down at least 2, so 2 or more of the interactions that I mentioned. So let's start with the integumentary system again. So the integumentary system works with the excretory system. It removes cellular waste. So if we have dirt under our skin, we might push out the waste from our skin cells in order to get that out of our body. We have our nervous system that works with the integumentary system to regulate body temperature, sweating if we're too hot, or goosebumps if we are getting too cool. And then lastly, with the immune system, we're preventing pathogens from getting inside of our body. Next, we have the cardiovascular or circulatory system. Both is the correct term. So you should know both terms, cardiovascular and circulatory. The main function of this system is to transport nutrients and other materials through the body. So any vitamins or minerals, iron, for example, needs to be transported through the body. And the organs or structures that are involved in this are the heart, which is the main organ. And then we have the blood and the blood vessels that help transport these nutrients. This system interacts with the respiratory system by transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide between the cells and the lungs. It also works with the digestive system to transport nutrients from the digestive tract to the body cells, so any vitamins that you might pick up from your food. And with the endocrine system to transport hormones from each of those glands to where they need to go in the body. Next, we have the muscular system. The muscular system has 5 main functions. The first is mobility or movement. The second is posture or stability. The third is production of heat. So again, if we get too cold, maybe we need to heat our body up. Digestion and circulation of blood. The organs and structures that are involved in this are muscles. There's 3 types of muscles: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. And the tendons, which actually keep the muscles onto the bones. So they're the things that attach the muscles to the bones. This system works with a lot of different systems. Remember, you just need at least two interactions. It works with its own system to allow movement. I mean by this is that if we're talking about the different kinds of muscle, so we might have skeletal muscle working with the smooth muscle. We'll get to that when we get to this system. It works with the digestive system to allow organs to contract and push food through the system. It works with circulatory to control pumping of the blood. This is smooth muscle. The respiratory system, the diaphragm is some smooth muscle and it actually controls our breathing. And then lastly, with um, the nervous system, the brain sends all the messages to all kinds of muscle in our body to contract or to stop contracting. Next, we have the digestive system. Its functions are to ingest or take in food, to break down the food once it's in our body so that we can get the nutrients and minerals out of it. And then lastly, to remove the waste, the leftover food that is void or does not have nutrients or minerals. The organs and structures that are involved in the system, it's a longer list. We have salivary glands, they're the things that make your mouth water. Your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines, both small and large, liver, gallbladder, your pancreas, your mouth, your rectum, and your anus. This system interacts with the muscular system, and the muscular system is able to control the contractions of the digestive system, and it's able to move the food through this system. This is smooth muscle. The circulatory system works with the digestive system because once the food is and the nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream, then the circulatory system will move them where they need to go. And then lastly, with the nervous system, the part of the brain called the hypothalamus is in charge of maintaining homeostasis, which is balance in the body. And an example of this with the digestive system is it tells your body to be hungry, it's time to eat. We have the respiratory system. Your respiratory system is in charge of gas exchange. So we have oxygen, carbon dioxide, and I should mention water. So water can be in a liquid, solid, or gas state. And when we're talking about the respiratory, we are talking about water as a gas. So water vapor. The structures and organs that are involved are the nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, the lungs, and the alveoli. The respiratory and circulatory system work together to take in oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. So we expel or get rid of carbon dioxide as a waste. Which brings us to the excretory system, which job is to remove the waste. In this case, we know carbon dioxide is waste. It also works with the muscular system. So I mentioned earlier that the smooth muscle diaphragm controls our breathing, so it moves up and down as we breathe. And then the nervous system is actually in complete control of our respiratory system, and it controls our breathing involuntarily. That means that we don't have a choice, which is great because we don't have to think about breathing. We have our immune and our lymphatic systems, which we combined just because there's so much overlap. The functions are to defend against pathogens, infection or disease from a virus, bacteria, or fungus, and to return the tissue fluid to the bloodstream. So the lymphatic system is the fluid part that works with the immune system. Organs and structures to be aware of are the white blood cells. Sometimes you'll see them in here called the WBCs. Those are the white blood cells. Your skin, your lymph, which is a fluid, lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, spleen, thymus, and bone marrow. The immune and lymphatic systems work with the circulatory system to transport white blood cells to fight invaders that are causing an infection in our body. It also works with the skeletal system. The white blood cells are made in the bone marrow, which is in the center of our larger bones. So that's where our white blood cells are made and then are used to fight invaders. And lastly, the integumentary system is the first line of defense that we have to prevent something from getting into our body. So usually things get into our body through our eyes, our nose, our mouths, and it's from breathing in what people are putting out of their body. We have our skeletal system. The skeletal system has 5 functions. It provides support or structure, protects our tissues and organs. So our rib cage, for example, protects our heart. It stores minerals actually in the bones, produces blood, so the bone marrow produces blood, and it also provides movement for our body. Our bones, cartilage, joints, ligaments, and bone marrow are all part of the skeletal system. This system interacts with the circulatory system to produce blood cells, as I mentioned earlier. So this happens in the bone marrow. Also with the excretory system to remove waste. And then with the immune system, we're producing white blood cells. The nervous system is probably one of the most important systems. It receives, interprets, and responds to any information that's going on around us in our environment. It coordinates or controls all of the other organ systems, and it has the job of maintaining homeostasis, which I mentioned earlier as balance and stability in the body. The main organs and structures in this system are the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. This system actually interacts with all of the system, and its job is to control or oversee all of the individual functions of each system and all the other interactions. Its main job is to maintain homeostasis. So we want everything to be working normally in our body, and the nervous system has that job. We have our urinary and excretory systems. I combine these. Sometimes you'll see them separated. They both have to do with waste. And so their main function is to eliminate excess water, salts, or waste products. So again, I mentioned if food we pull all the nutrients out, we would excrete or remove that waste, the leftovers. And then it also filters blood, and that's more specifically the urinary system. The organs that are involved in these systems are the kidneys, ureters, bladder, urethra, liver, and skin. These systems interact with the circulatory system to filter out blood waste. They work with the respiratory system to get rid of waste like CO2. It works with the integumentary system to get rid of waste. So we might sweat it out, or it might be oil coming out of our pores, or dirt coming out in the form of maybe even a blackhead. The endocrine system regulates our body's activities via hormones. So these are our little chemical messengers that get sent out. There are many glands, and these are the main structures. So we have the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid, thymus, the adrenals, there's 2 of them, ovaries, pancreas, testes, and hypothalamus. These are the main glands. This system interacts with most systems. The first and main one is the circulatory system, and the circulatory system transports or moves these hormones to where they need to go. The reproductive system is regulated or controlled by these hormones. So the cycles that our reproductive system go through are regulated or controlled by the individual hormones. The skeletal system, we have growth, bone growth, or height that's controlled by growth hormone in this case. And then the nervous system, its job is to maintain homeostasis. So if something needs to happen in the body elsewhere, our body will release hormones via the endocrine system, but it will happen because the nervous system tells it to. Reproductive systems, we're going to talk about these a little bit separate, so male and female. The overall function of these are to produce sex cells and hormones. Let's talk about the males. So the males, we're going to kind of group some things in here until we talk about the system. But we have the testes, any external genitalia, and any of the accessory organs, which probably fit under structures really. Female, we have the ovaries, uterine tubes, sometimes called fallopian tubes, the uterus, vagina, any external genitalia, and the mammary glands. This system works hand in hand with the endocrine system. The endocrine system is going to send out the hormones to make more sex cells. Sex cells would be sperm and egg. And then it works with the muscular system. So if a woman is going to give birth, her uterus would contract, or if she's in her menstrual cycle, her uterus would contract to get rid of the uterus lining. It would also be controlled by hormones as well. So the hormones would be sent through, and it would tell your muscles, your uterus, to contract. So I would like to end with this short video. I'm not going to play it in this recording. I'm actually going to link it on Schoology. I'd like you to watch it. I believe it's 4 or 5 minutes. When you're finished watching the video, I'd like you to answer 2 questions. The first in blue, why it's supposed to say why are individual systems important? And then the one in orange should say why are the interactions between these systems important. So blue, we're thinking about why is an individual system important? Why is the muscular system important, for example? And then the orange one is why is how the muscular system and the skeletal system, why is that important? Why are those interactions or those connections important? You can write your answer on your body systems review sheets. Good luck.